welcome to the Dunn Show. My name is Gary Smith, and on today's show, we're going to talk with Coach Dunn about this past weekend's exciting Coal Bowl victory against the IUP Crimson Hawks, and then we're going to look all around the PSAC and the storylines going on throughout the conference. Then we'll look at this upcoming homecoming week matchup between California and the Seton Hill Griffins. But Coach, happy Coach today, a heck of a game. I'm glad you thawed out. It was a very first day of the year that we had to deal with any kind of weather, but exciting day, and congratulations on a big win.
Thank you. A little windy up there, but a good day. I thought our kids put a really good week of practice in. We had talked right after the Clarion game that our preparation was going to be, decide what we do on Saturday. And I thought our guys had a really good week of practice, locked in, focused, physical practices, and I think it showed on Saturday. So anytime you can go up there and get a win, in that type of fashion, then obviously we feel good about it, but we've got a lot of work to do and a lot of things to improve, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we go on.
Well, it's crazy how that it seems like Mother Nature knows when to set a stage for a rivalry game. It was a gray, cold football afternoon. IUP's homecoming was on Saturday, so there was a lot of people around, and, the feeling in the stands, title fight atmosphere, and really, Coach, that first quarter, talking in the stands with some of the fans and some of the parents, were like, it's either going to be one of two ways. It's going to be both teams are going to be buttoned up. It's going to be a lot of punts, this, that, and everything. Or what happened the first quarter, both teams going up and down the field and just scoring a lot.
I think more of us going up and down the field, and obviously a couple of special teams breakdowns that allowed them great field position and a couple scores there. Give them credit, they capitalized on it. But, I thought our offense came out really well. I thought our offensive coaches had a really good plan. That first quarter, we had some things dialed up now. And, we start the game with a long run. We get down in the red zone a couple plays later. We come back to that run out of a little bit different set, and Eric goes 16 yards untouched for a touchdown. We come back to second series. We get our tight end matched up on one of their corners on a little play action, and I don't know if you're going to find a guy more wide open in college football than Jack Kalechi, and Jack can run now, so Jack made a good catch, got us down inside the 15 again. So I thought offensively we started the game the way we wanted to. We had some things dialed up. Wasn't happy with our red zone offense. I think we left a lot of things on the table and a lot of points on the table. Some of it, just didn't execute. Some of it, credit IUP, and then a couple of times, we didn't have a great call against what they were doing. So, but the start was good. Like the way we started. Obviously, we gotta fix some special teams issue. We had a block punt, and then we had a long kickoff return that really gave them two possessions inside the 20. When you look after the first quarter, I don't know, they may have had less than 50 yards of offense because we gave them great field position. But, they made plays too, so, credit them.
Well, in that first quarter, something we alluded to a little bit at the beginning of the show was the wind and the cold. And it seemed sitting there, any team that was going left to right, if you were sitting in the visiting sideline, was going to have a hard time scoring. And looking back, that first quarter your team put together was just great play calling, great execution, because we saw throughout the rest of the game. After that first quarter, when the wind got up, it was hard to move the ball going that direction.
Yeah, that wind was something. There was a couple balls that we threw, and Davis has got a good arm and can sling it, and it hung up in the wind. The one field goal going that direction, I believe in the third quarter, got hung up in the wind and wasn't sure that was going to – it looked like it was coming backwards, but Anthony's got a strong leg, so he was able to get that. So the wind was a factor on both sides. I think they won the toss and deferred, so we took the ball, and then they chose the wind. In the second half, I was able to dictate and say that we were going to keep the win for the fourth quarter. And I thought a big key was we came out and moved the football and scored in the third quarter going into the wind, and that was huge for us.
Yeah, that was a momentum changer coming out of the second half. But I tell you what, there was, like I said, play calling was great going in there, and players made some great decisions. I know a lot of times coaches and fans don't like to see sacks, but I know there were a couple of times Davis was running around into that wind, going into that direction, decided to take a sack instead of trying to force something.
Davis made good decisions. There was a couple plays where he'd come off to the sideline, and his explanation was really good. He saw the game really well. He had one interception, and that's something that we can fix. The kid made a nice play on the ball, but Davis tried pinning it in, placing a ball in there down in the red zone when I think we were at the 10-yard line or inside the 10 another time. And as soon as he came off, he said, "That's on me, Coach. I never should have threw that ball." So, he's getting better every week, but he did take care of the football for the most part. I thought that was a big tell in the game. That was the turnovers. We had the one in the red zone, which was followed up by our special teams bailing us out. When we turned it over in the red zone, defense went out and did a great job, held them to, I think, 3 and out, and then we blocked the punt for a touchdown. So that was huge. And then really the third quarter just taking over that game.
And I tell you what, on both sides of the ball, your offensive line and defensive line did a great job of controlling the line. Let's talk about the offensive line first. Not only kept Davis pretty clean throughout the day, but also 41 rushes, 176 yards overall for a net 170 or 146. So that's, I mean, in a game like that, you need the running game, and they really paved the way for your fleet of running backs.
Yeah, Coach McClain is doing a great job with the offensive line. He got those guys believing, and man, are they playing hard. They're a physical group. They're playing hard. I thought our pass protection held up really well. They've got some really quality edge rushers over there. And, we had some schemes in to if we needed to help the offensive line a little bit in protection, we had the schemes available, and we didn't need it. We were midway through the first quarter, and I thought protection was good. We get in the second quarter, I think protection is really good. So we didn't have to go to any of those schemes where we felt like, hey, let's help the O-line out a little bit here. They held up well 5-on-5 and did a nice job. And then in the run game, I can't speak enough of them. They're down for, you see our first touchdown. Number 75, Sean Knight, our left tackle, is down on their free safety, springing the big touchdown from the backside. So, and I thought our wide receivers blocked better. We are really, really challenging those guys to understand that 8 to 10 yard run, if they do their job, turns into a 20 and a 30 yard run. And when they do that, we can be pretty good offensively. They're really playing selfless right now. They're attacking in the run game, and then they're trying to take advantage of their opportunities in the pass game.
Well, you can see it time and time again in that game. A couple of the short passes, short wide receiver screens, running back screens. As soon as the running back has the ball, you can see the timed up that your receivers are looking to hit somebody and get down there. And it's great to watch because you see everyone turn. It's like I said, just a convoy going down the field.
Yeah, I think the O-line's doing a good job getting out on screens right now, but you're right. The wide receivers are doing a nice job there. We had a couple more opportunities, and that's what I'm going to talk to our offense about today is, we left a lot of things out there. Now, credit IUP, but if we execute and do some of the things we're supposed to, then I think that wins a lot bigger. And credit IUP, but there's some things we've got to get corrected and we've got to improve on, and I'm excited that we're going to do that after a W.
Well, on the other side of the ball, Coach, it seemed like your front seven was in the IUP backfield 80% of the time and running around and just causing havoc and mayhem throughout the entire game.
Yeah, the two keys, I thought our defense played phenomenal. Excuse me, that wind up there got me a little cold here. I thought our defense played phenomenal. I thought our front seven controlled the game. I really liked the way our defensive backs covered. I think they may have had one splash play the whole day. But yeah, we got after the quarterback a little bit. We stopped the run game, and then in the second half, our defense really took over the game.
Well, on the stats, credited for 5 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, but what that doesn't show is so many plays that were only a yard or two. It only shows the plays behind the line. There were a lot of times that IUP was facing 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, and that's tough to live against your defense.
Yeah, and I think the key was we tackled better. We tackled a lot better, and that's something we continue to work on. We start every practice with tackling circuit, and our guys did a better job because IUP's got some skilled athletes now, and our guys did a better job tackling and running to the football. And then the turnovers are huge. To get the 2 picks, Hutch almost scored on the one, just barely stepped out of bounds, and then I think Dom Solomon caused a fumble on another one. I thought Dom played his best college football game. I felt him all over the field. He was a great leader for us on the sideline, both in him and Toby. After the 2 special teams errors that we had that gave them, great field position that led to 14 points, I thought they really stepped up as leaders, but I thought Dom probably had his best college football game.
Well, if you see on the highlights, on the second fumble recovery, the California force, Dom Solomon, he made the hit, but he was in there so fast and so hard. We thought 3 different players do it, but you see on the highlight that he just comes from the side, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful football play that you'll see in a few minutes. But, Coach, before we look at those highlights and look at the final stats, we're going to have to start having you give speeches every week to get people in the stands because it was red, black city over there.
Right, great atmosphere. Obviously my daughter is in studio today, and she was there screaming her head off along with my wife. But great alumni turnout. I know a lot of guys that I played with were there. So a lot of our younger alumni, the Gabe Millers and the Noah Dillos and Jackson Doherty were there. And then a lot of my really close friends that I played with, Vic Shandor, Tony Marino, Andy Oswald, Mike Mammarella, all those guys came out. And it's just great, and we talk about it every year, the rivalries and what it means to win that ball game, especially on the road, was special, and glad our alumni and our fans could be there to see it.
Yeah, one of the cool things where we are on media, IUP, we're on the visiting side, so you kind of get an idea of talking to players or families and fans and stuff like that. But there was a buzz the entire day. They were like from about 1:30, whenever it was really starting to ramp up towards kickoff through the entire game. That was a buzz, and it was a great college football atmosphere. And like I said, we'll have to keep having you give your little speech at the end to get people in the stands, because this is going to be a big weekend too. There's something coming up.
Homecoming back here this weekend is big, but was happy the way we started, and I think that kind of energized our crowd. And I can't thank the marching band enough. I mean, they are probably our biggest fans. They do a tremendous job, and then the cheerleaders coming up and being there. Just a great college football atmosphere. Two schools fairly close. Two rivals going at it. Great college atmosphere. Like I said, Sydney in there we had a nice long talk after the game. She told me everything that we did wrong. So those are all the things we're going to work on this week. So just a good day for Vulcan football.
Well, she came up to us and said, "Do you want to do a halftime show? I can explain what we need to do." I said, "No, we'll take care of this." And I tell you what, the one person, the most envied person in the entire stadium on our side of the field was Blaze, because he had 58 pounds of foam on there. It was snug as a bug in a rug.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I saw him after, like, come on.
He was probably hot doing all those push-ups for all those points that we scored.
Well, let's take a look back at this past weekend's big victory at the Coal Bowl. When we come back, we'll break down this upcoming week's opponent, Seton Hill. You're watching the Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.
First and 10, Willis in motion, handoff to McCann, and McCann makes a man miss, and McCann has a lead blocker. McCann walks into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Not even 3 minutes in, and the Vulcans go the distance. Play action pass, caught over the middle and into the end zone for the Crimson Hawks touchdown. That's Hilton Ridley. Beatco's kick is up. And Anthony remains automatic. 10-7 your score. One first and 10 from the Vulcan 11. Hunter throw over the middle. That pass is caught, and for the touchdown, just like that, the Crimson Hawks take the lead. That's Cole Laney. Beatco's kick is up, and Beatco's kick gets there. The wind nearly took it away, but and the Vulcans block the punt, and the Vulcans are going to scoop and score. That's Khalil Taylor. He blocks it, and he runs it into the end zone for the Vulcan touchdown. Needs to step up in his absence. 2nd and 10. Marcatelli to throw. Marcatelli's pack intercepted. As Boyd gets the call now, and Boyd trying to find some room, and Boyd, the ball comes out, and the Vulcans are going to fall on top of it. Pitch to Stewart. Stewart trying to get around the outside. Ball comes out. Hutchinson lays the boom, and the Vulcans get the ball back. Romano back to throw. Rolling now to his left. Romano's throw intercepted by Californian Hutchinson.
A new season of Vulcan football is set to begin September 9th versus Kutztown, September 16th versus Shepherd, September 23rd at Edinburgh, September 30th versus Clarion, October 7th at IUP, homecoming October 14th versus Seton Hill, October 21st at Slippery Rock, October 28th versus Mercyhurst, November 4th at Gannon, November 11th at East Stroudsburg. All games available on CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Digital Network. Are you a Penn West California student looking to get involved in media? You have two great choices, and for both, all majors are welcome. CUTV is the home for Vulcan sports. Be a part of 80-plus live games both home and on the road. We're looking for announcers, camera operators, graphic operators, and much more. There are also opportunities to develop your own shows. Go to our YouTube page, CUTV Sports 1, and see all of the content. WCAL Radio gives you the opportunity to play your music and develop your own show. Be heard locally over the air in a 40-mile radius and worldwide online. That's 91.9 FM, Power 92. SAI Media of CUTV and WCAL. Get out, join up, be seen, and be heard.
Vulcan Volleyball is back, and you can have the best seat in the house. The Convocation Center will be rocking with 11 home games featuring some of the best teams in the region and the PSAC. All home games will be streamed live on CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Digital Network. Follow Cal Vulcans on all social media platforms for up-to-date schedules and information. Vulcan Volleyball and you, a winning combination.
Suffering from World Cup withdrawal? Well, Vulcan men's and women's soccer has you covered. Come up and watch the region's best soccer teams do battle in a combined 18 home games at the beautiful Phillipsburg Soccer Complex. In addition, 3 men's and 3 women's home games will be featured live on CUTV Sports 1 and the PSAC Digital Network. Follow Cal Vulcans for up-to-date information on all things Vulcan soccer.
Mitchell hands off McCann once again. McCann, nice spin into the end zone. Touchdown, Vulcans. Vulcans able to strike first, and what a spin by Eric McCann. Mitchell gets the snap looking to his left, trying to find someone in the back of the end zone. It's going to be caught for the touchdown. That time, Cam Tarrant able to pull that one in. So just like that, few plays, and Vulcans march their way right down the field. Gets the snap, looking to his left, firing deep down the field once again. That pass is caught for the touchdown. Vulcan stacking the box, hands it off to Paquette one more time. Paquette trying to get that outside angle. Is going to trip up, make his way into the end zone for the touchdown. So the Seton Hill Griffins able to strike in this game. Gets the snap, firing towards the end zone. That pass caught in the end zone, touchdown. That time Mark Bales able to pass that one in. And just like that, 21-0 has turned into 21-13.
And welcome back to the Gary Dunn Show. I'm Gary Smith, and along with Coach Dunn, we just took a look back at this past weekend's action against IUP, and then we took a year-long look back at this upcoming week's opponent, the Seton Hill Griffins. And Coach, before we break down everything that's going on this week, one of your favorite times of the show is whenever I break down what's going on graphics with the PSAC, and let's take a look back at this last week's scores around the PSAC. Obviously, our score, California, with the big victory at the Coal Bowl. Gannon beats Edinburgh 23-12, and then other scores in the PSAC West. Seton Hill goes to Clarion and wins 24-17, and then Slippery Rock goes to Mercyhurst and scores 75 in a 75-31 win. Over in the PSAC East, Shepherd goes to Lock Haven, gets a 27-10 win at the Bald Eagles. Westchester, in a back-and-forth matchup, prevails over the Shippensburg Raiders 38-28. Kutztown goes to Bloomsburg and wins 24-3, and then the final PSAC East matchup is East Stroudsburg at home, beating Millersville 38-17. And a quick look at the PSAC standings in the West. You have 3 teams tied at 3-0, Slippery Rock, Cal, and Gannon. And then IUP, Borough, Seton Hill are all 1-2, and then Clarion and Mercyhurst 0-3. Over in the PSAC East, Kutztown is 3-0 in divisional play. It's followed by East Stroudsburg, Shepherd, and Westchester at 2-1. And now, Coach, that's your favorite time of this. The show is over. No more graphics. Let's take a look at this upcoming week's opponent. Big matchup. It's always every week's a big matchup, but you come back from a rivalry game, the Coal Bowl, right into homecoming. I know you've been watching tape on Seton. It was always what have you seen on tape from the difference?
Really their defense jumps out. They run probably a different defense than anybody in the country. They're going to play a lot of man coverage. They are going to outnumber you in the box on every play. So they're going to tell you basically you can't run the football. And then they've got a great blitz package where they're going to bring guys that you don't think should come, and they come. They run the football. They're physical up front. Really, it all starts with their defense. The next thing is special teams. They are probably the best special teams unit that we're going to face. I think they've blocked a kick. They've blocked a couple punts. They've returned 2 kicks for touchdowns. Special teams is going to be a huge part of this game. We didn't perform as well as we would like on special teams last week, although we did have a huge block punt, so that kind of balanced it out a little bit. But we're really going to have to be good special teams, and they complement each other, right? Their offense isn't going to take a lot of chances because they're not giving up a lot of points. They're going to try and take care of the football and kill the clock, and so they're a lot better than their record indicates. They've had some close games. They played Slippery Rock very tough for the first 3 quarters. They got a big win this week, so they're coming off a win. They're a good football team, and it really all starts with their defense. And it's going to take some time for our guys. They're different than anybody that we face. So a lot of the rules that you have in place are broken this week. So you got to reteach everything this week. So this is going to be a big mental week for us. Learning assignments and learning how they play defense different than anybody that we see.
And how big is it this week for your scout team to try and replicate that if it's a system that no one really sees?
I will tell you, our scout teams are doing a tremendous job. They prepared us last week extremely well on what Indiana was going to do. We've got some quality young guys in our program right now that are on the cusp of redshirting, but man, they could be playing. And we're doing a period every Wednesday where we condition or stretch our older guys, and we do a little mini scrimmage with our scout team guys. And man, that's been a lot of fun, and they're flying around, and so we're developing those guys. But they're doing an incredible job with the scout team stuff. I can't thank them enough. They're a huge part of every victory we've had. So we're going to need a big week from them. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because they're completely different defensively. Offensively, they got a new offensive coordinator this year. They're a little bit more like everybody else. They're going to run an offense similar to ours, but defense, man, it's going to be a test this week.
And that's going to be this weekend. It's homecoming at 3:30 special start time. We'll get to that in a little bit. But also, Coach, is another team that used to be IUP was our closest rival in terms of geographic fit. But Seton Hill in the backyard. I know this is another game where I know almost all the PSAC, everyone's recruiting against anybody. Sure. But this is even more, backyard versus backyard.
Yeah, they're our closest opponent right down the road. We do see them a lot in recruiting. Got a lot of respect for their coaching staff. Coach Day up there has done a tremendous job. So it's going to be a tough one. That's what I'm going to talk to the team about today at 2 o'clock, that we've got to be buttoned up, ready to go. We got to take care of ourselves. And it goes back to, there was a lot of things Saturday that I thought we could have did better as coaches and players. And as we continue to grow and improve, those are the things we've got to get corrected to reach our potential. And I don't think we're anywhere close to playing a full football game yet.
What's the message to the team in practice this week in preparation? Like we alluded to at the beginning of the segment, last week, huge win, emotional win against the biggest rival, going right into homecoming. What do you tell the team? Because it's 2 emotional highs back to back.
Yeah, do your job. It's going to be a lot of assignment football for our offense. We've got to be detailed in our eyes. We've got to be detailed in our assignments, and we've got to do the right thing. Seton Hill's going to make plays defensively. They do all the time. You see, if you look at the stats, they have a lot of tackles for losses. They have a lot of sacks because of the nature of the defense that they play. Is different, like I said, than anybody else, and they'll take some chances and they do some different things. So occasionally you can get a big play on them because of if you do the right thing. So a lot of it's going to be about us. We've got to take care of our details and our assignments and have a chance. And then defense, we got to continue to run and tackle. I don't care what scheme you call, what play, what design you have. If you don't tackle, none of it matters. So they've got a good tailback. They've got some go-get-it receivers. So we've got to run and we got to tackle this week to have success.
As I said before, it is homecoming this weekend. Kickoff is at 3:30, parade at 11. But Coach, we're going to put you in the Wayback Machine a little bit. Not way back, a little back before now.
Yep.
As a player, what was your favorite homecoming memory? being at Adamson
just
Stadium.
just the guys coming back. You know, when you, especially the guys you had played with. You know, I was when I got here, and this is a funny story, right? So I told the team on, I guess it was Thursday or Friday after practice, it was Friday after practice, that I've been associated with this rivalry since 1991. And you should have heard the gasps from my team. Our freshmen were born in 2005.
Yeah, you might as well have said like the 1890s.
They came up to me after practice. They're like, "Coach, you're old." I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting there." So that, you know, but I was, you know, as a player, you know, IUP when I was here had you know, they were really good and went to a national title game and had success against us. But even when after I left, I followed every week when they played IUP. It was still a big game. I had buddies of mine that played at IUP, so it was always a big game. So, you know, the calls and the texts that I got before the game, and the calls, I had 75 text messages after that game on Saturday when I got back to the locker room, and I tried to return every one of them. I apologize if I didn't, but you know, that makes it special. So for me, homecoming is the same thing. When those guys that you had played with as a freshman or a sophomore and they came back, and, you know, the older guys that come back and are a part of homecoming is huge. I know a lot of my guys that I played with are going to be here. We need the alumni back. You know, we're going to put something out today for our alumni, football alumni. We've got a great crew from, you know, the 60s and 70s that are here every week. You know, they're out at the Pavilion tailgating every week, and it's just special to bring the former Vulcans back. But for me as a player, it was always about, you know, having the alumni back.
I tell you what, it's great to see whenever I pull in. I'm glad that's the mystery, because every time I come into the game, I'm usually, if the game's at noon, I'm there at 9 o'clock starting to get ready. And there's already people in the pavilion. I'm like, what time do you guys wake up this early, or you're here overnight? What's going on? It's just great to see. And then as I'm setting up, I always look out in the parking lot and just see, you know, just the excitement build with, you know, people playing cornhole and barbecuing and everything like that. So
yeah, no, it's going to be a good day. You know, I think our alumni will show up. I know our students get excited about homecoming. Homecoming is a big deal here, so we've got to keep it in perspective this week. I know they've got, my wife's working on a lot of programs, you know, for homecoming for the students. I think they have bingo tonight. Might try and get in there. Maybe you can go try and win a couple games. But, you know, it's a good week, but we've got to keep it in perspective. It's got to be about our preparation. It's got to be about our details, and we got to continue to improve to be able to have success.
Once again, that's homecoming this Saturday. Games at 3:30 against Seton Hill. If you can't be there, CUTV and WCA will have you covered on CUTV Sports 1 on the internet, on YouTube, obviously the internet, duh, and also the PSAC digital network. But come early. Be at the parade, be at the stadium. And real quick, other games in the PSAC this week other than ours: Mercyhurst at Clarion, Slippery Rock at Gannon, Edinboro at IUP, and then over in the east, Shippensburg at Kutztown, East Stroudsburg at Westchester, Lock Haven at Bloomsburg, and then Shepherd at Millersville. And Coach, this is your final chance to get the crowd in there. You tease bingo, you tease anything else, any other secrets? What can we do to get people out of the parking lot into the game?
Well, we got to get a little bit earlier, right? Hopefully, with a later kickoff, right, we can get them into the stadium a little bit, you know, on time. Let's say, you know, by kickoff. But no, it's going to be a special day here. Homecoming always is. I know our administration does a great job. My wife, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about her this week because she's working, you know, on homecoming. But everybody does a great job, and it'll be fun atmosphere as long as we take care of our business.
So all former and current Vulcans and friends of Vulcans come on out this weekend. Come to the parade at 11. If you're on campus this week, check social media for all the events going on campus. It's going to be a fun week. But most importantly, be in your seats at 3:15 on Saturday before the 3:30 kickoff between California and Seton Hill. For Coach Dunn, I'm Gary Smith. You're watching The Gary Dunn Show right here on CUTV.